Welcome back to The Replacements on WCWP Sports.com. Max Caster and Jordan Lauterbach up until 3 o'clock. Broadcasting live from Brookville, New York. CW Post the Campus. Right now we have Dan Brown on the line to talk about the 49ers and the Michael Crabtree situation. Dan, how are you doing?
Good. My contract is signed. I'm good to go.
Well, that's good, Dan. That's good.
I might need a new agent, but the deal is done in the least.
And speaking of contracts, you have obviously the Michael Crabtree situation, him threatening to sit out of this upcoming season and re-enter the draft in 2010 because he can't come up with a contract that he likes. Is this just a ploy, or is he dead serious? And is the 49ers front office falling for it?
Well, I mean, the ploy is kind of implicit in any contract impasse, right? I mean, that's the point of any stalemate is I'm not going to play until we sign. So nobody ever says, well, I'm only willing to hold out for 2 months. I'm willing to hold out for 3 weeks. It's always, indefinitely. So the problem with Crabtree's situation is he was a number 10 pick who thinks he should have been a number 5 pick, top 5 kind of guy. So he wants top 5 money. The Niners aren't willing to do that. Traditionally, draft contracts, they're slotted. Number 7 makes more than number 8. Number 8 makes more than number 9. So they're going to need to find a way to resolve that situation, and Crabtree can't continue to stick and hold out for top 5 kind of money.
So is Crabtree's kind of playing this, hey, look, it's not my fault that receiver was not a huge issue of need in the draft for the top teams. I'm still probably one of the best players that came out of that draft, and it's also not my fault that the Oakland Raiders picked Darius Haywood-Bay just because he's, maybe a speed guy. So is his MO here maybe saying, look, hey, I'm the best player in the draft, pay me like one no matter where I was in the order?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly the issue. And the Niners, conversely, it's not their fault that they ended up with him. They shouldn't have, they have the number 10 pick, they shouldn't have to pay number 3 money, they shouldn't have to pay number 4 money. And there were reasons that Crabtree picked, not just because of need, but, the questions about his foot injury, the offense he played in Texas Tech was responsible for a lot of the numbers. I mean, nobody doubts that Crabtree is a huge, immense talent and probably should have a terrific NFL career, but guys slipped for reasons. And, somebody pointed out yesterday, the best thing to do if you slip in the draft is prove to the rest of the league that they made a mistake. Go take it out on the field and then punish guys for, like Randy Moss did when he slipped in the draft a couple of years ago. He went out and proved that all the teams that passed on him had a chance to take him and didn't. He made them pay. Then eventually the big contract comes.
Do you think that Michael Crabtree's value, and obviously it would, but do you think this is running through Crabtree's mind? If he holds out and re-enters the draft, wouldn't his value drop? A, because he won't be playing for a year, and B, teams will see, hey, look, this guy is a guy who kind of is hard to deal with in the negotiation room. Do you think the 49ers kind of are waiting on this because, if he re-enters the draft, obviously he's not going to get that money next year. In fact, he'll probably get more money from the Niners than he would from any team next season.
Right, and his reputation for being a little difficult to deal with may have cost him already. Remember that during this year's draft process, some teams, notably the Cleveland Browns, kind of whispered, look, this guy's got a diva attitude. We didn't like how he came in with an entourage. We didn't like the way he acted during interviews. And that helped maybe knock him down a few pegs. Teams didn't want to deal with his attitude. And the Niners, on draft day, swore that all that stuff was nonsense. Crabtree's just a hard worker, a confident guy. He's not a diva, and that's the word that kept coming up was diva. But maybe this contract negotiation shows that some of those teams were onto something because it's been a very difficult road.
How concerned are the Niners? Obviously, you have to be concerned, but if and when they do sign him, he's got this advisor that's advising him, and this advisor, there was an article, I think, in Dallas a couple years ago about how he runs a business where he bails guys out of jail. This guy is obviously not a good guy advising Crabtree. How concerned are the Niners about this advisor if, in fact, Crabtree does sign going forward?
Yeah, I can't say I know. I don't think they're too concerned. I mean, the agent that they deal with is not the advisor. I don't think they have any contact with that guy. They're dealing with Eugene Parker. That's the guy they deal with. That's the guy they're concerned with. So it's not something that is an issue. And remember, this is a team that's dealt with Terrell Owens over the years, so they know. T.O. was here for several years. They know how to deal with some of these high-maintenance guys.
T.O. was always known as a high-maintenance guy, but when he got on the field, he was all business, and he kind of did not let that affect his play. Do you get the sense, and I know you haven't seen him a lot, do you get the sense Crabtree is the same way, or is this a guy who, in the future could be a problem once on the field if these contract negotiations don't go well?
It's a good question. I mean, we've barely seen him. He was out here for some of the mini camps and for some of the training camps, but because of his foot injury, he was doing conditioning work. He was running off to the side in practice drills. He wasn't on the field running with the team. So getting a feel for how it's affecting his on-field performance is hard to say. When he was drafted, we talked to Mike Leach, the coach at Texas Tech, who just raved about the guy's work ethic, his leadership abilities, and all that stuff. So from his standpoint, he said, don't pay any attention to the other stuff. The guy puts in the work. He puts in the effort, and the Niners are lucky to have him.
Max Caster and Jordan Lauterbach on the replacements talking to Dan Brown of the San Jose Mercury News. Now, Dan, you talked about Crabtree's foot injury. How has that progressed, and is that preventing the 49ers from wanting to give him any more money?
I have to say, he made pretty rapid progress, and it was noticeable even to us scribes. He came in, from the very early minicamps right after the draft, and was really, really limited in what he could do. Singletary, really had to admonish him, like, don't push it, we're not in a hurry, we've got time. And then by the end of the summer, the last, they're called the OTAs, these organized team activities, he was really pushing it. I mean, he was running full-out sprints. Now, he wasn't running pass patterns, he wasn't cutting, but in terms of the speed and the explosiveness, that was coming back. I don't think that's an issue in the negotiations.
We've seen players hold out before. Darrelle Revis in New York held out for a long time. DeMarcus Russell in Oakland held out for a long time. If you had to make a prediction, and I hate to put you on the spot, but do you think this gets done, or do you think Michael Crabtree is on his couch come September?
I think he'll get it done. I mean, I think maybe a couple of exhibition games will go by, but I think with the amount of time he's missed already, he's going to start feeling antsy about falling too far behind. And you don't want to get to the point where this is a lost rookie season. It's hard enough for receivers to make an immediate impact. I mean, you look at even Larry Fitzgerald and some of the other guys, they don't, as great as they are, even they can't have, 1,000-yard seasons as rookies, because you've got to learn the offense, you've got to get chemistry with the quarterback. The transition is just tough. So, Crabtree, having missed all that time already, having no understanding of Jimmy Ray's offense, having not really worked with quarterbacks Alex Smith or Sean Hill, he's going to be behind, and he would be foolish to wait an entire training camp without at least getting his toe in the water a little bit.